Hello, Facebook people. How you all doing? How are you? It's the scribal midwife here. It's Mercy, and we are doing, as you know, Raising of the Bar series. Okay, and so this is a series in which we are removing that bar of limitation. All right, that will block and hinder you from actually emerging and becoming the author that you are. Okay, so you're an aspiring writer. You've been thinking about writing your book, but there's all these other things that keep coming to your mind that's blocking, right, your vision to becoming that published author. All right. And so we want to be here to support you. So Raising the Bar series is just for you. And let me just hurry up and get this out of the way. Next class, for those who are looking for the next class of the Scribal Success Program, how to write your book in 7 days, be published and launched, right? That program is actually going to be going forth in the month of September. Okay, so we are taking right now, we're taking applications. So if you're interested, hey, Connie's here. So if you're interested, definitely put a 1 in the comments. Let me know that you're interested, and that way we can come behind you and we can greet you. And this is for the replay viewers too as well. So leave a note, let us know that you was here so that we can come and show you some love. Okay, we want to show you some love. Okay, so the program will start in September, in which we'll be able to support you with how to write the book and to do it in 7 days. And then from then onwards, we will get you published and we will support you in your launch. Okay. And that program is $5,000. Okay. That program is a $5,000 offer. We do have an extended payment plan. All right. But if you're interested, then let us know. Okay. Again, it is to write, it's to publish, it's to launch, and we will support you to write the book in 7 days. Okay. Awesome. All right. So today my guest is Ivy Caldwell. Ivy Caldwell is an elder. She's actually an elder in her church, in her community. And she also is the prior owner of a daycare, right, for young children under the age of 5, right? So she ran her own daycare, guys. But now she is a published author. Yay, 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 yay. All right. So celebrate her for me. She is a published author. And I'm so proud of her because she's talking about something that a lot of us as aspiring writers are like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can share this. Like, what are people going to think? What's going to happen to me? Right. And so she is talking about her experience during childhood, right? And so the title of the book is this. It's called Expose It, Let Your Healing Process Begin. Okay, so let your healing process begin and expose it. So welcome, Ivy. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So Ivy, tell us a little bit about why it was important for you to write about your book and the experience of abuse, child abuse that you had experienced early in age.
Okay, first and foremost, it was obedience to the Holy Spirit, because I had no intentions of writing a story about myself. I started with the children's book, but God stopped me in my tracks and said, you have to tell your story. And I'm like, my story? It's like, what is my story? So I have to sit there and think about it. Okay, no problem. I will tell my story, God, if that's what you want me to do. It is very important for us to tell our stories so that we can be healed. Like you said, there are so many women, girls, children, and even men that hold these secrets, and they are afraid to let anyone know what they have been through. And that fear is associated with a tactic of the enemy, because as long as he can keep your mouth shut, he can hold that power over you. But as soon as you open up your mouth and expose what has happened to you, the enemy loses his power over you. God is an awesome God. He will take those terrible, cruel things that have happened to us, and he will get the glory out of it. I was molested on my ninth birthday. Never told anyone about it. And when I finally had the opportunity to tell someone, which was my mother, she didn't believe me. So as a child, that shut my mouth. And I never spoke of it again for years. Down through the years, I told people, I was molested, I was molested, I was molested. But I never went into full detail until 2020. That's a long time to hold a secret when God does not want us to live like that. He wants us to be free. So where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. God wants to come and liberate us from all of that baggage from our past. So that's the little gist of my story, but it's very important to expose your truth.
So the interesting thing is that you had no intention of actually telling this truth, right? So you was
Correct.
living life. It was pretty much in the background. You was living your life, how you was living it, and you decided, okay, I'm going to write a book. But what you wanted to write, but I believe it was a children's book, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And so God kind of really redirected you and said, no, I want you to address this issue. Now, what I felt that was really, really interesting is that this came round about the time of Kirk Franklin. Okay. When his son was beginning to express what was going on behind closed doors. Okay. And had his dad recorded. Okay. And I felt like at that time in that season, God was exposing that.
Yeah.
He was exposing the things that we was keeping hidden in our families, in our lives, and he was bringing it to the forefront so that we can be not presenting one thing and doing another thing, but we need to be very congruent with who we say that we are. Yeah. In our life, our professional life, and our ministry life. And so sometimes these things are in our life and they're actually holding us back, right? Yeah. They've kept us in chains, which is why you were saying that, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. And in order to be free, a free Christian, there's some things that needs to be exposed so that we can walk in that level of freedom. Yes. It's just that sometimes it's painful, so we like to keep it hidden and covered. Yeah. But I really felt like the exposure of Kirk Franklin. Actually, let me just say that again. Not that I think God told me that the exposure of Kirk Franklin was a demonstration of what he was doing in our houses. So when you came to me at that time, I was like, okay, God, I see what you're doing, right? Because one of the things, and maybe you guys don't know this, one of the things about the Scribal program, about the Authors Finish Line Academy, is that was an idea that God gave me. Like, I didn't make this stuff up. Like, really, truly, I did not make this up, right? And one of the things he told me that the authors are coming. And when they come, he said that I desire to speak through them. Okay? He said, it's time that my voice be heard. And so the people that come to me have a special message, right? They have a word in season, in season to out season. And that word, when you came to me, it was at that time. And so I just knew. And then even around that time, there were some other things that was going on. And I was like, wow, God, you're really speaking this thing about family, right? About really ironing out those hidden issues that's in the dark. And God is really bringing it to the forefront so that the light and the healing can come into our lives, and so that we can become better individuals.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about, we know that you wrote the book, but tell us about your process of writing it. Like, what was that like? Because I know a lot of people have similar journeys and they're contemplating like abandoning the project. They're like, I can't, this is too hard for me. Like, really, I don't even know what I'm doing, what I'm talking about. I don't, because sometimes it can rock the boat, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it can, definitely. But for me, it wasn't a problem at all. God said to do it. I got my notebook and I started writing. That was July 2020. I was finished about October. I believe that's when we were with Sade with the online course. That's where I met you. And December came. I said, okay, let me just go ahead and do this. let's get this book published, because I had finished my part already. So it
Right.
wasn't difficult for me because I was already healed and all that good stuff. But now it's time to help others to be
Mm.
healed and get over that hurdle, because it's not easy for some people. It's like it's that scab is still there, and under it is still very painful. It's a process to the healing, but we can't keep it covered up. We eventually have to take that band-aid or bandage off so it can be exposed to the air so that it can heal. So it was not difficult for me to write the book.
Right, because you did it out of an act of obedience, and
Yeah,
so and in those moments there is much comfort, there's much peace. Okay, there's much peace. Oops, sorry. There's much peace about what you're doing. So, guys, if that's you, then you definitely want to keep it in prayer. Okay, you definitely want to keep it in prayer so that you can feel strong about what you're doing. Okay,
yeah,
Ivy was somebody who had already written the book, and then she came to us so that we could publish it. All right, and so we've had to work with people through these issues through the 7-day book coaching program, in which we support them through the healing and the. I tell people, listen, I've seen healing happen in that space. I've seen deliverance happen in that space. I've seen all sorts of things happen in that space, right? And
yeah.
so, what people do experience when they're having to do the writing part is that there is a peeling away.
Mm,
Okay. There's a peeling away. There's a lightening of the load. All
yeah,
right. There's truth that's coming to the forefront. And everything becomes new after that point. Because, like you said, it's like this scab, but we're trying to get to it. So there's no infections. There's no it's the part of even writing the book is a level of intervention for some people. I know you
yeah,
said for you there was much healing that had already happened, right? But for
yeah,
some people, it's even an intervention for
yeah,
them to write about it. Like
mhm,
it's the only time they're in lockdown that they can actually face this issue, right?
yeah,
And so just know if that's you, that having a supportive environment to get you through the process is all that you need. It doesn't mean that you have to abandon it. It just means that you need to be in a supportive environment so that you can walk through it. And so
yeah,
we've had to do that several times. Okay. So, because we don't want you to abandon it. Sometimes people are not sure how much to write or even to write people's names in the book. They're not sure, like, how far to go with the storyline or their
yeah.
journey, what's happened. But definitely, tell us how you came to those decisions.
First of all, you definitely want to make sure that you are healed before you write your book, because you don't want to bleed over your readers. Uh,
This
don't
is true.
worry. Yes, don't worry about the offender, the one that hurt you, their feelings. Don't worry about family members. This book is about you so that you can go through your healing process. And you don't want to put anyone's name in the books per se unless you have their permission. So you do have to be careful and have someone to coach you through the process.
Yeah, because you can, you don't want to be sued for defaming somebody's character. Okay,
Right,
so that's
right.
something that you want to be aware of. And you can change the names to protect those individuals too as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so that's good. So the healing part, like you said, is important. You do
Mhm.
definitely need a level of healing. I tell people this that there was a book that I was going to write. One of my first books. I was angry. I was angry and mad, right? And I haven't actually written this book. I don't know, maybe a couple of chapters in. To this day, I cannot find this book. I just cannot find it. I don't need to find it because it was just it had too much anger on it. It would
Yeah.
not be supportive or helpful for anybody. If you had asked me at the time, I would have said, yes, this is good. But really and truly looking back on it, no, 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 no. There was like too much venom,
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
poison,
Mhm. That's not
and
the purpose of it.
no, exactly. That is not There you go. That is not the purpose of it. And
Yeah.
so, if we said that Holy Spirit is giving us a book, the purpose is not to for an opportunity for you to get revenge,
Right,
right?
right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Can you talk on that about not getting revenge, not using your book as a purpose to get revenge?
Well, first of all, vengeance belongs to God. It does not belong to us. So we can't take
Yes.
God's place. Let God handle the offender. You get your healing and go ahead and write your book so you can help other people because there are people that are waiting on you.
So it's not about revenge. It is about uh, expressing a message that's going to resonate with a person. In other words, there's a mission at hand, right? You're assigned to a mission, and we've got to be very focused on that mission and not focus on how's this gonna really benefit and soothe our anger. That's why the healing has to be in place, because otherwise you will be seeking for revenge. And in all honesty, that's what I was seeking.
Yeah.
Okay, in all honesty, that's what I was seeking, which is why I said I cannot find the book. I don't know where the book is, right? That content has no purpose for anybody, it's no good to no one, right? And so God shut that thing down and
Yeah.
resurrected the book at the right time, at a time when I didn't want to write about it, because I wasn't trying to hurt anybody anymore, because I've been delivered. I'm like, I don't even want to write about that old thing no more. That was way, and this is about my experience of being in a cult. I'm like, I don't want to write about that because I'm healed, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, well, why would I even be trying to expose them, expose me? I don't want to do that, because the healing had come and I had moved on. I had totally like moved on. But God was like, that's the right time.
Yeah.
Because we can get some good out of that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because of purpose, right?
Yeah.
Purpose is everything. The reason behind you writing the book is everything. And so I hope this supports you guys who are wanting to write about something. And Ivy, you had said something. You had said about the family members, right? So sometimes our stories are not just our stories. They're so intertwined with other members of the family. And, some people can be really upset that we're telling a story, they don't get to chime in, right?
Right. Right.
Because it's not their book. They don't have an opportunity to tell their side of the story, or to explain, you know, maybe why they was not able to defend you at the time, or people are not given that opportunity. Tell us about how you was able to move on with that. I know you sound really that certain, like, don't worry about them folks, just obey God. But sometimes in our insecurities and our rejection issues and abandonment issues and our people pleasing issues, we're like, I don't know how to do this.
Yes. Well, I did go to my mother because, I did tell her, what happened to me, and she didn't believe me. So I went to her like 3 times, really. The first time she was like, girl, nothing happened to you. Must have been something you saw on TV. Time went by. I'm an adult now, have children, married, went back. She's like, well, I did the best I could do. But I had to go back again. Like, Mom, we really need to talk about this. And so as we sat down and talked and I listened to her story, I was like, okay, I got it. I'm good. I forgive you. We're good. I mean, it was just awesome the way the story was. My mother has a powerful testimony herself. And she's like, well, I want to write my book. I'm like, okay. And also remember that those family secrets lead to generational curses. We have to expose those things because the sin passes down to the 3rd and 4th generation. And you don't want your grandchildren, great grandchildren, dealing with the same issues because it's in the bloodline. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it.
Yes. You are
Yes.
absolutely right there. Prayer and deliverance is everything, and renouncing those curses and breaking them is important. So if we pretend it never happened, then we don't actually do nothing about it. And those things have a life, a residence, and it works right through the bloodline. And so we're perpetuating something as opposed to shut it down. And what we want to do is shut that down.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I I talked to my sons to let them know, this is one of the reasons why I didn't let you guys spend the night over anyone's house. I was protecting you as your mother. I did not let them spend the night over family members' home. Why? Because incest is in my family. It's like I could care less whose house it is. I could care less how mad you get at me, but you're not going. My job was to protect you, and I don't want anything to happen because the enemy is so sneaky. He will use anyone to mess them up. So we have to be careful and watchful over our children as well.
Now that's really powerful. Now, did they understand as adults? Did it all make sense to them?
Yes. Yeah. So they were like, wow, Mom. So it's like, I'm glad you didn't let us go, anywhere. So it's like, we appreciate that now. So yeah, so they were good. Yeah, that's my boys. Yeah.
I think a lot of people need to hear this. I think this is even a conversation that we actually don't even have.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it. And so I know there's gonna be people listening that's gonna be like, that is in my family, and I've still been loose. Like you took it upon yourself not to be loose and not to undermine that it could occur again with family and your kids, but you stepped in and you said this is the standard. The standard is that friend, family member,
Right.
you're not going nowhere, okay?
Right.
Because I have to protect, because I know what goes on, and the
Yeah.
damage. We don't even we're doing damage control. We don't even have. We're doing prevention right now. We're doing prevention.
Yeah, you got to have those conversations. You do. You definitely do. And another thing, like in our family or in our culture with our children, especially the girls, we would call like our body parts, the girls, or I don't know. I don't even know what they call them now. But giving your body parts the proper name, telling them what the safe zones are with their bodies. If someone makes you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to tell me, I'm not going to be upset with you. I don't care what they say to you, if they're going to kill me or whoever, but have those conversations with your children at the appropriate age. Don't just ignore it so that they can be aware of it too.
And I think even as Christians, during church, that we don't talk about this period, and we do undermine what could happen. Even with youth leaders, people could have a background and we don't know nothing about it, but we're just very carefree, and we think the best of people. But we're not doing enough to understand that these things do happen, even between family members, and families come to our churches and gatherings, that we still need to be on the lookout, and we still need to have protocols in place.
Yes,
okay. So these things are not exempt from church. I've heard people as adults tell me when they were children, this happened inside the sanctuary. Okay. So these things are not exempt. But I like what you did, because you knew that these things happened. It meant that you was extra careful and you took precaution. And so I'm saying to the church, we ought to do the same thing. We know these things can happen, and we ought to have precautionary measures in place, just like organizations. I come from a social work background, so just like in foster homes and daycares and so forth, there are measures in place, because those things can happen on anybody's watch, right? And we're going to be held accountable and responsible. So this is really good. And I throw that in there because we're talking about generational curses. And so as church, we talk about generational curses, but we don't think about, when we're doing Sunday schools, how can we prevent these things from happening on our grounds, on our turf? And what measures do we have in place that when children say something, that we don't, that we actually begin to put things in place?
Yeah. That's very important.
So now I know that at this time, you actually have a coaching program. You have a program, right? Tell us about your program and what you're doing to support women through your book.
I have been very busy. I've done quite a few podcasts. I've been quite a few vendor events. And I have a course, an online course that I have created. It's called Under Construction for Transformation. Are you ready to be transformed? And I will be your project manager. And when you think about a construction site, it is very messy, but you got to get in there and clean it out, go under the line, looking at those pipes and see what's going on under the street, the water main lines. You got to do a lot of digging before you start building. All right. So I'm going to help you dig out all that stuff, and we're going to start building you up into who God says you are so that you can be free.
Hey man, I just love the way that you've actually packaged that program and the framework that you have going on right now under construction.
For transformation. Yeah.
Yes, with transformation. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. So what I'm going to do at this time, I know there's a few of you guys watching right now, so I just want to give a few shout outs. Okay, so we got Connie in here, and she said agree the church needs to address this. We got Prophetess Janet in here that says that's a true word. And Connie says accountability is key, precautionary measures are important. That's right. Okay, and time to break those generational curses. Focus on the mission. She said, thank you for explaining this about revenge, right? Because we can be on our own agenda sometimes.
Yeah.
We need to get back to focus, back to the mission. Yes, that's right. And so, just like Elder Ivy was saying, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And so there has to be that freedom to share and express. All right. Yes, 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 yes. She is a part of our Scribal family, our Scribal group. Thank you guys for joining us today. Now, if you guys had any questions for our guest that's in the studio with us today, then you can definitely put it in the chat. Okay. And again, if you have interest of actually writing your book or even publishing it, then certainly you can. I'm going to go ahead and do this. You can book a call. You can book a call because we have a class in September. We have the class in September. So if you're interested, then definitely get with us. Now, any questions? Also, it's important. Let's take a look at this. She said also it's important for the church and our families to not be in denial. Yes, not to be in denial about abuse. Exactly. We have to own up to the fact that it does happen so that we can address and put measures in place so that it doesn't occur. And then we need to really teach too as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We need to take that on too as well. If we got children in the house.
We're no longer the 1960s where you're on the plantation and it was a part of life for them to take advantage of the children. We're no longer in that space. All right. So people have a voice. You can talk, and they should be made to feel free and safe to share what they have been through.
So with that, tell us a bit about how you feel. You said that people should be able to express their voice and so that they can feel free. Now that you have expressed your voice, you've put it in writing, you have a message. Like you said, you've been really busy on podcasts and doing vendors and just being really pushing your message about the importance of exposing it in order to heal, to begin the healing process. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. I had the opportunity to bring forth the word on yesterday at my church. So I got a little sore throat here today, but I'm good. I'm just good.
So you're good in, as in what's been happening? What have your family have said that has made you, I mean, like, I can imagine this is like a huge win, right? Because some people, they say they're going to write a book and they don't write. Yeah. And they feel the weight of procrastination. They feel the weight of condemnation. They just feel that weight. But using your voice has made you to feel.
My husband has said, he's proud of me. And sometimes he'll sit in his chair behind my computer and just sit there and listen at me. And he was like, okay. He says, you're doing what you were meant to do now. He's like, okay. And then my sons have said, Mom, we're proud of you. So kudos to Mom.
See, now what I want to share too is that since you've done it, you've really reinvented yourself. I would say there's a
Yes.
reinvention that's happened. Like, I know you're saying you're good, but
Yeah.
really I think you're more than good. Like, your husband was saying this is what you was meant to do. So you're more than good, right? You're like in your zone. I'll call it in
Yeah.
your zone. You're like in your zone. This is my groove. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think I said it to you too as well. I said it on the post. It's like you done shaved off a whole decade or something. Like you
I
got
know.
like some right?
Yeah,
True
because
that.
one of the ministers from my church is like, I don't know what's going on with you, but you look different. It's like, what's going on?
For real. Like you got swag going on. Right? You just like this renewed energy is
Yeah.
like you've come out the box.
Yeah.
It's like you really are tapping into who you are outside of the walls, right, of being the elder and everything, and the mother and the wife, right? It's like really Ivy is
Yeah.
like being Ivy, and it's like it's so refreshing and
Yeah.
so encouraging to see. It's like whoa. I mean, like you put us on notice. Like, okay, who's she now? Like, what is she doing? Like, what are we doing now? Okay,
Yeah.
like
Even my pastor
you
said that she's like, it's your time now. It's just your season now. So you go forth and do what you got to do. Yeah.
I love it because I tell people this all the time. And so sometimes they probably don't believe it, but when you write a book, like a chapter in your life, like you are a book, your life is a book, right? It's like that book is open to a brand new chapter. It's like you was living in chapter 5 or something, and then it just turns over into a whole new chapter. You're like, I've never seen this chapter. I've never heard it. I've never even felt myself in that way before. And it's like nothing really happens until the book is published.
Yeah.
When it's published,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, like, oh my God, this is really happening.
Yeah.
Right? So publishing a book is so important. People write all day, every day. Okay.
Yeah.
But having it published, man, you're gonna have to stand by that word, defend that
Yes,
word,
you
live
are.
that word, breathe
Yeah.
that word. You
Yes,
can't take
you
it
are.
back. It's like you done birthed a baby. You can't suck that baby back. It's
Right.
it's here to stay.
It's out there.
Right? It's out there. It's out there. Right? It's out there. So I just want to say I was so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Like you saw this whole process through. You did not allow discouragement or anything to hold you back. You really didn't. You went forward, and just kept on advancing.
Yes.
And so you're still advancing. What I'm talking about is after the book, you're still advancing, right?
Yeah.
To doing the coaching program, teaching people what God has really given you concerning the contents of the book. And you're now feeding and sourcing other people. Like that's just phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah.
Just from a book. It's phenomenal.
Yes.
I
Thank
teach people this all the time. Like the book will give you new chapters
you.
that
Yes.
you've never, eyes have never seen, ears have never heard, neither has it ever entered into your heart. And you're like, where did this come from? Right? You be challenged in a whole new way. It gives you a level of confidence that you
Yeah.
was never able to access before.
Yes. And the creativity comes with it as well. Yeah. You have that passion. It's like, man, I could do this, that. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So, yes, it does. Another chapter. Yes.
Awesome. All right, so we've got Michelle here. Michelle says it is also important to have safe places to go to expose abuse. That is absolutely right. We need people need to feel like they're not going to be shamed.
Exactly.
When we accepted what God says about us, we have that confidence.
Yeah.
Yes. So accepting and embracing definitely gives us confidence. Yes, it does open a brand new chapter. Yep. And Janet's a published author. Publish, you're forced to be recognized. Yes, absolutely. You become a force. You become a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely. Well, this has been a pleasure. This has been absolutely great. I appreciate your time and your willingness to just be here and support people in this journey that they're going through, because so many people have experienced what you've experienced and is wanting to put pen to paper, but is very unsure, feeling very insecure. But I trust that having heard your story is going to give them that oomph and support them to make the decision to move forward, not get stuck, but to move forward and advance. And so we are super proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to give you a round of applause. Round of applause, Elder Ivy, for your contribution to this discussion and this matter, and to the healing of so many souls.
Yes.
Okay? Right? That work on its own is like phenomenal. So
Yes.
we want to say thank you for doing that. So many adults today are not wanting to dress it up because you first stepped out. Could have read a children's book, but your obedience had you do this, and you're making a wider amount of impact. Your
Yes.
impact that you're making is huge. Now, tell the people, how can they get a hold of you, and when is your program? When is your next program? We wanna support people to find out about the program. They can join your program. They can get in your program. Tell them how they can get a hold of your book and your program.
Yes, you can go to my website, footprintenterprisesllc.com. You can get a course outline to see what the course is about. And then you'll get a follow-up email that will give you a link to sign up for the program. The next class will be starting on September 9th. That's on a Thursday at 7 p.m.
Okay, so September 9th, people of God. All right, so September the 9th, you want to definitely, we're on the 17th, so don't wait till the last minute. Reach out to her. And how can I get a hold of you?
My email is ivy@footprintenterprisesllc.com.
Okay, so they can go to the website, the contact form, the information is going to be there. They can reach out to you that way. And you're also on Facebook too, right?
Facebook, Ivy Caldwell. Instagram is Footprint Series.
Yes. Okay. All right. So please get a touch of Ivy. You can purchase her book. You can go straight to her, and you can get your copy of the book. And if you know anybody, that's going through this right now, okay, let's not leave them in the dark. Okay, you just need to support them to get in touch with Elder Ivy, right? They'll be in safe hands.
Yes.
Okay, so that they can get the healing that they need.
Yes.
All right. And so I want to encourage you to share this with your friends, your family, and let people know, okay, so that they can overcome this step. All right. It's very, very important. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the listeners. You guys have been great with your questions and your comments. And again, if you're watching this on the replay, just comment below and let us know #replay so that we can come behind and just share some love. All right. So thank you, everybody. Much appreciated. And it's going to be a goodbye from me.
Thank you.
Goodbye for my guests. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right.
Go ahead and write that book.
Yes.
Your truth so you can be healed.
Amen to that. Yes, get your book done. And if you're thinking about getting your book done, September is when the class starts. All you have to do is I put the information in the comments, bit.ly/writers book me. And Elder Ivy, if you could come back and just put those links in there, like your website and stuff like that, so that people can get a hold of you, that will be awesome. Okay. Yes. All right. So good night. And thank you once again, Elder Ivy. God bless you all and take care. All right. Bye-bye.